Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And before you click like, dislike, comment, or get too invested in this video at all, it's likely not what you think. For better or for worse. It's likely a drop different than what you were perhaps expecting. How to get your partner to play more games with you. It's a tricky title to begin with. There are simultaneously so many people looking for that subject, so many people who want those answers, who want their partner, whether it's, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever it is. There are people who want their partner to play more games with them, and they are often looking for assistance from whoever, from the crowd, from whatever group you're in, from whatever thought process you put towards yourself. How can I get them to play more games with me? It almost sounds coercive in nature, because to a certain extent it is. And I will get into that. I will have practical solutions solutions is the wrong term, practical advice as to how to improve your chances of your spouse playing games with you, of your significant other, your partner, your whomever. But the first thing I want to get into is, what is your goal? What is it that you're actually looking for here? And I'll clarify the question a bit. But as a starting baseline, do you want your spouse... I can't stop using the word spouse. I use the word spouse by default for the same reason if I accidentally refer to wife more often than husband or anything like that. It's just because I'm the husband and I have a wife, so I might perhaps resort to standard language tropes that I'm used to in my life. But that said, the partner aspect. So your partner. You're trying to get your partner to play more games with you. Is that what you want? Are you trying to spend more time with your partner, or are you trying to get your partner to play more games with you? Which of those is it? Because it makes a big difference. If you're trying to play games with your partner because you want to play more games, find some friends, find a game group, get into solo games. Find some other reason or some other outlet for yourself. Because, and I'm going to be fairly harsh in this, I don't think it's intended this way, but I think that's what it is. I think it is incredibly selfish to try to get your partner to play games with you because you want to play more games. It's weird. It's not, it's such a weird thing. You want them to sacrifice their time. You want them to potentially engage in something they don't enjoy. You're trying to, in some way, coerce them into an activity because you really would love to play Cosmic Encounter, and Cosmic Encounter requires more than... Well, Cosmic Encounter is a bad choice because you only need 5 anyway for that, or minimum 4. But you're trying to play a game. You want to play Cthulhu Death May Die that I have on the table, and you don't like playing it solo, so you want to play it with other people. And if you play it with your spouse, well, hey, partner. If you play it with your partner, well, hey, boom, you can now play it more often. Maybe you just don't like playing games solo, so you want your partner to play games with you. Now, I don't think it's black and white, to be clear. I don't think it's always so binary, one or the other. It's likely a mix. But I think the goal, I think the motive needs to be clarified for yourself first, and also for your partner. Also for the way you'll approach or handle the situation. I think many of us do want to play more games, and I'm sympathetic to that. I spent years just playing games with my partner, with Rena, before actually having a game group. And I didn't play solo then either. Now I play solo, now I have a game group, now I play with Rena, I play with my kids. I am fortunate enough to have a lot of things going on for me now. But the first 2 years I had in gaming, were gaming with Rena when she wanted to. I wanted to play this much, she wanted to play this much. There's a gap there. I occasionally had a game group that closed the gap by this much. I'd go to meetups or something like that. I played no solo, so there was a gap between what I wanted to do and what I was doing. And that's fine. It's fine to have gaps in life. I'd like to read more books. I'd like to watch more movies. Well, movies I don't really care as much about. I'd like to play more books. I'd like to read more books. I'd like to play more video games. I'd like to paint miniatures. There are so many things I would like to do that I'm not doing as much as I would like to. For various restrictions. Sometimes I don't have enough time. Sometimes I don't have the resources, the attention, the skill, whatever it is there. It is fine to have gaps between what you want to do and what you are doing. But you don't solve that gap by making your partner do something they don't want to do or care for. So start with your motivation. Alternatively, Maybe you want to play games with your partner because you think it would be a good activity for the two of you. In which case, great. That's awesome. Spending quality time with your partner, that's incredible. That's awesome. Good on you. And the part that gets complicated is the hybrid model, because I think it often is a hybrid model. You like your partner. You'd like to do things together with them. You like games. You'd like to play more games. So obviously doing the thing you like with the person you like, that's great, right? I'm a big fan of doubling up on time. I'm a big fan of getting the most out of life. And very often doubling up on time is a way you can do that. One of the reasons I do playthrough videos on the channel, playthrough videos in general, just for the record, when I do playthroughs on the channel, playthroughs consistently take the most work to edit, to get up and going. They take the most work from any other video I do, with the exception of my Monday video. My Monday videos are to back or not to back. Those have a lot of research in those. But with that exception, playthroughs are the second most work for any other video I do, and they are almost consistently the lowest amount of views. So why do I do them? Because I have to go play a game with Rena. So if I'm playing a game with Rena, I'm doubling up on my time. I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying time with my partner, and I'm getting a video out. So I double up on time. I approve of doubling up in time. I think it's excellent. If you can do the thing you like while spending time with the person you like, that's absolutely incredible. As long as the person you like likes that thing too. Because that's really the key there, isn't it? If they don't like what you're doing, then there's multiple other problems that will come along the way. You might want to spend more money on games than they do. If they don't appreciate your hobby, there's going to be a disconnect. My wife and I are generally fine with a lot of what we both do, but there certainly would be a disconnect if one of us, I think, I could be wrong here, because Rena's incredibly easygoing, she's incredible, but I think that it's very plausible that if she didn't like gaming, she'd be, it's a little trickier, because in my case, I turn it into a business to a certain degree, but she might be you might have more of an issue with the money I spend on games, or the amount of money I spend on games. So it's helpful that she supports my hobby. There's a lot of things that come along with when you're both in the hobby together. But again, I think the first thing you need to do is check your motivations. Ultimately, what is more important? That you play more games, or that you have a fun time with your partner? As long as this is your priority, having a fun time with your partner regardless of the activity, I think you'll have an easier time with this. As long as this is your priority, as long as your goal is playing games and he or she is merely a tool in that process, I think that will come through in your actions. I think that will come through in their desire to engage. If it's not them you want, and it's the games, I think that will come through, and I think it will make your process harder. So that's a nice 8-minute long framework to what is going to follow with actual practical tips, because I do have practical tips. But I think the framework's important because all those tips revolve around that framework. It's not about playing more games. It's about finding meaningful ways to spend time with your significant other. And if those things are games and you both enjoy them, then awesome. So with that out of the way, 5 tips. This video is not called 5 tips because this video is called How to Get Your Partner to Play More Games with You. It's a more interesting title, I think, and also pulls in all the people who probably need to hear this message. But that said, so number 1, don't push. Like, really don't push. It'll likely come naturally. If you are this involved in a hobby, if you are this involved in something, whatever that something is, and that something does include games, because, it is games, there is an idea out there of playing games with people. The general concept of, hey, I'm a person, you're a person, we like each other, let's play games together, that is a pretty easy concept to understand. But don't push. If you turn it into, you have to play my zombie dragon game, whatever it is, and you're trying to push that thing on them, it won't work. I shouldn't say it won't work, that's not true. It has a harder time of working. Versus if you just have games, and if you're open to it, if you're open to spending time together, then it's much different. In general in life, this is true across the board. When you try to push people to do things, they are resistant to it. We have a natural instinct to not do things. To the point that as a sales technique in general, if you're in sales, one of the best things you can do is the counter sell. Here's why you don't need my product. Here's why it's not a good fit for you. Here's why you shouldn't back my Patreon, because you should spend more money on board games, by the way. That's why. But it's generally telling people not to do things can genuinely have an effect of providing the pushback that they want to do it. Now, I'm not saying go up to your partner and say, hey, I'm not playing games with you, I refuse to. Probably not the best idea either. But if you push for it, if you're trying to get them to, it will likely have a counter effect. It will likely not work the way you want to. The more you push, the more you nudge, the more you try to get it to happen, the less likely it is to happen. Instead, leave that door open. Maybe a comment here and there. When she says, hey, what do you want to do tonight? You know, and again, it's all contextual to whatever conversations you've already had up until this point. Because if you just spent the past 3 months harassing her about board games, or him or her about board games, and then they say, what do you want to do tonight? And you say board games, not the right answer. But if you've left that door open, if you haven't been having these conversations, if you're just, you know, you're engaged in a relationship of some sort, and she's like, oh, what do you want to do? You say, oh, by the way, like, I have some games, you want to do that, or we can go out and watch a play, or we can do this and this. Give them a few options, and game's one of them. See if they gravitate towards it. They'll likely want to at a certain point. If you're having fun playing games with other people, they will likely want to be a part of that, or at least experiment and see if it's for them. Which brings us to point number 2. If they show interest, I'd almost argue when. There's almost certainly going to be a degree of interest. The question is if or when or how much. Try to invest them in the decision process. It's not about what you want to play. I don't care how much you like Twilight Imperium 4 and you haven't got to the table in 4.5 years. It's not the game to start with. And obviously that's a dramatic overthink. I think even most of you, or most of anyone, would not suggest Twilight Imperium 4 as a first opportunity. But invest them in the process. Oh, a game sounds good. Like, what do you have? Oh, well, I don't know. What do you want? Like, what, like, what have you played things before that, like, what, do you like chess? Do you like apples to apples? What are the kinds of games they enjoy? Don't push them on the game you think is the best pick. I think Codenames Duet, that's a great choice. We should play this. By the way, this whole stack of games are games I would recommend for couples. We'll get to that at the end of the video. I think Codenames Duet is excellent. Let's play that. What's it about? No. I'll just teach you. It's good. No. Invest them in the process. There's so many ways you can do that. Like, oh, do you want to, like, draw something? I have some cool roll and write games. Those would be interesting. Like, I also, like, what about escape rooms? Have you gone to escape rooms? Like, I mean, we've had fun doing that escape room last week with that couple. Like, I have some of those games. Or maybe, like, do you like chess, checkers, abstracts, apples to apples? Like, what do you like? What do you think? Like, tell me what looks interesting. Or maybe let's just go down to my, collection and take a look at it. Tell me something calls to you, and I'll tell you, like, if I think it's a good fit or why not. Maybe, like, work our way up there. Invest them in the process. In general, people will be invested in the process. This is true for anyone. This is true for myself. As a content creator, when I look into Kickstarters for the sake of the channel, I end up backing more than I otherwise would have because I am now invested. Rena, who will occasionally say, I want that game. As soon as she picks a game, she will read the rules and get it to the table because she's more invested. In general, investing people in the process is a good way to make the outcome more likely. Don't just force the games you think are a good fit. You can suggest them. You can tell them why. But always give options and always invest them in the decision process of whatever game that they have expressed interest in. Number 3, and relevant to this, play at their level, not yours. Now, this is one that I've had people ask me this question. I remember I had a specific conversation. If you're watching this, apologies. I had a specific conversation once with somebody who was trying to get their family. They were like stuck at home doing quarantine with their family, and they were trying to get their family to play heavier games, like much heavier games. It was like, oh, like they're fine with 7 Wonders, they like that, but I'd rather, like, I'm trying to get them to play Kemet, and they don't really seem to enjoy it. And I don't think those are the titles, but the general idea is there. And the answer is pretty simple. Stop trying to play Kemet. Kemet's a great game. I love Kemet. Do not try to play the games you're trying to play with them. Try to play the games that are at their level, even if it means a step down, even if it means you go out and purchase specific games that are interesting to them. Maybe they're not interested in anything in your collection. Go shopping together. Find something fun. If you try to play games at your level, the things you're trying to table, and not at theirs, you're only going to push them away. There's only so much goodwill you can burn here. Because, you know how? People, again, 2 people who like each other, right? 2 people who like each other, who in theory like spending time together, you would think board games are the perfect hobby. You would think. You know a great way for it to not be the perfect hobby? By reminding them this quickly that you're here and they're here. You don't enjoy the same things. Now, I'm not promising in the slightest that if you sit there and say, oh, I'll meet them at their level, we'll play games here, I'm not promising they'll rise. I'm not. But again, start with the basic premise. What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to play your games with them? Or are you trying to spend time playing games? Are you trying to spend time with them? And games just might be the outlet. So the most important thing is the quality time with them. How you want them to sacrifice playing things they don't enjoy for you, but you're not willing to sacrifice playing things you don't enjoy for them? Doesn't that seem weird? And I'd argue, by the way, that the chances of you enjoying something lighter is probably higher than the chances of them enjoying something heavier. For you, it might be a small sacrifice. For them, it might be a large sacrifice. You need that commonality. You need to find people where they are, meet them where they're at. They may or may not grow past that. That's totally fine. Oh, I should have grabbed Canvas for this list. I should have grabbed Canvas. Canvas is over there. Canvas is another great choice. There's so many gateway options on the table that you can choose that are going to be fun for you. They're going to be rewarding for you, and yet they're not going to be too much for them. Play at their level, not at yours. Number 4, and this one's going to be hard, especially once they show that first interest. Let them dictate the frequency. Them, not you. They play that first game. You pulled out Canvas. They had a fun time. But like, you know what? Actually, that was pretty cool. I kind of want to do that again. Like, I didn't really score a lot of points because I was building my paintings. But like, it was fun. I would do that again sometime. Let them initiate. Let them decide. Same exact rules as right before. Just because they enjoyed it once doesn't mean you sit there and try to force your hobby on them now. It's almost worse. You give them that initial taste and you're like, they liked it. They like Canvas. Can we play games tonight and tomorrow night and the next night? And why don't we pull out, Twilight Imperium 4 now because you played Canvas and you liked it? There's no need to go that far. It might seem like you have that open door that they've liked the games. So now it's just a question of playing them more, right? I mean, that's easy, right? Let them dictate the frequency. And again, it is a balance here because you want to show enough interest that they think you want to spend time with them. That's for sure. You want to spend enough interest. You want to show enough interest or leave the door open enough that they know you still would like to, but you don't want to push it. Same rules as before. You're looking for something to do? Oh, hey, hon, we could watch that new Army of the Dead movie on Netflix or whatever it is, or if you want, we can play Canvas again or something new. Like, you tell me. Uh-oh, what happened here? This is not good. Just got a little bit of a update thingy. Nope, no issue there. Sorry, just got a weird update on my phone that I thought I posted a video, which I should not have a video going up right now. Anyways, but yeah, don't let them dictate the frequency. Let them decide when they're interested. Leave that door open and that's it. If you push it too fast, you'll lose that initial momentum you just gained. Number 5. Number 5 is never be bitter about it. Never. Like, really, really never. Now, granted, if you're both heavy gamers and you're both really into gaming, a little bit of bitterness at some point in your life will not kill you. But in general, the fastest way to turn someone away from the thing you're trying to do together, the thing you like and you want to spend time with them, that merging of both of those, is to be bitter about it. Oh, you chose Army of the Dead. I thought you liked Canvas. I do like Canvas, but like I want to watch Army of the Dead. You keep telling me that's a good movie. Oh, okay, fine. Like I thought you liked Canvas. Any form of bitterness that you hold on to, any form of you don't want to do the thing that I like with me, it's going to turn them off so fast from ever wanting to do that thing that you like with them. Because again, it's the priority system. You're trying to spend time together and you're trying to do the thing you like. That is fine. That's good. But if you turn it from prioritizing the thing you like over the spending time together, then you're telling him or her what is really important. It's not the spending time together. That's not the really important part. No, it's important that you play more games and I just have to give up my time for that to happen. You want them to turn away from your hobby that quickly? You want them to resent your hobby and the time it takes? Do that. Watch how quickly it turns on you. And this is going to be a balance and true in general other aspects of your life in terms of spending time with your friends playing games. Same idea. You have to ensure in any relationship that the first priority is them. The first priority is them. They are the most important thing to you. Anything else is and should be secondary. And it's easy to know this in our heads and then to forget it in our actions. That, of course, they're the most important, and yet you're willing to snap at them, but not your friends. You're willing to prioritize your friends, but not them. You're willing to prioritize games over them. At a certain point, they have to wonder, and I mean, you should wonder, what is the most important thing to you? Is it your friends? Is it the games you're playing? Is it the other things in your life? Like, what is going on? What is your priority system based around? If your priority system is based around them, if they are the most important thing to you, everything else will fall into place to a degree. I'm not promising happy ever after. I'm not promising that they're going to sit there and learn the rules of Twilight Imperium and play it with you. Not promising any of that. But I guarantee you, if they feel that they are a sacrifice on the altar of your game pile, they're not going to love your hobby. Why would they? They shouldn't. It's like, oh, great. So you want me to give up my time to play a game with you. So do not be bitter about it. Take the small victories and understand it is a pathway. And again, I happen to think, don't get the wrong impression from this video, I happen to think that spending time playing board games together is one of the best hobbies any couple can have. I think it is mentally rewarding. I think it is fun. I think you're spending time together. I think there's a large variety of things you can do. I think there's multiple side aspects of the hobby, from collecting to buying, from Kickstarter to choosing, all these different things that you can do. I think it's an amazing hobby to do together. But you have to kind of get them to feel the same way, right? And they have to ultimately feel that they are the most important thing in your life. They have to feel that that you want to spend time with them. And the games are just secondary. And then lastly, it's not really a tip because I did my 5 tips already. If it doesn't work out, find something else to do that you both enjoy. Or if it does work out too, by the way. If they do like board games. This is a regular thing. I get questions all the time of like, oh, well, he likes this game, so we played it today, and she likes that game, so we'll play it tomorrow. No! Stop playing games that only one of you likes. You don't trade off on your time like that. You don't sit there and say, I will be unhappy with this game so that you can be unhappy with that game, and then we're both happy because we got to play the games we want. That's craziness. It's the exact same problem. You are prioritizing the game over the person. That's absurd. And I mean that for yourself selfishly as well. Don't play something you don't like as some sort of trade-off to get to some sort of weird end goal. Are there no games you both enjoy? Are there no hobbies you both enjoy? First and foremost, do things together that you both enjoy. This concept of sacrifice to spend time together should only ever come into play if you literally have nothing in common. If you can't find a single hobby that you both enjoy, then sure, trade off something so that you can spend time together. Ideally you can find something. Figure out, go hiking, read books. I don't know what other hobbies people engage. For me, it's mostly just board games and stuff, but paint miniatures. I don't care what it is. Find something that you both find meaningful, that you both find rewarding, and engage in that activity together. Do not try to trade off. Well, I hate hiking, but I'll go hiking for you if you'll play board games with me. It's absolutely absurd. It's not absurd, absurd. It's not what you should be doing. That goes both with crossing hobbies as well as playing board games you both don't like. Like, fine, I'll give you Dixit, but then you have to play, Lisboa with me. It's not the way you should do it. Find that middle ground. What do you both enjoy? Yeah. And then lastly, just for those who actually want a list of recommendations, I'll just rapid fire go through what I think is actually a great list of recommendations for couples to play. Because I've done a video like this before. I'll be doing another one again with Rena next time. But just as a I like having games on the table when I do these videos, so I'll talk with them. Escape room games. These are going to be a solid opportunity, especially if you like escape rooms. If you don't like escape rooms, I don't think you'll like escape room games, but if you like escape room games are a great low-risk entry form of the hobby. Codenames Duet. That's basically a party game. It's disguised. It's easy to get that to the table. It's awesome. Welcome to. Solid little roll and write. Roll and writes are accessible. They bring people in. So if you're trying to pull someone into the hobby who isn't there, this is a good choice when they express interest. Patchwork. Same thing. Light little polyomino game. Everyone's played Tetris, right? There's a reason it's a solid gateway game that people like a lot. We have Whatnot Cabinet. The Whatnot Cabinet of any of the games in the Button Shy series over here, they're gorgeous. They're just beautiful games not Button Shy. Pencil First. Wrong game collection. The Pencil First collection. Whatnot Cabinet. Solid game. It's beautiful. Fun to play. Lots of other options that are going to be in the same vein, from Herbaceous to, what are the other ones they have? I can't remember all their game titles. They have other ones though. We have Ecos. Ecos is currently Rena's one, a new fun favorite of Rena's. This one might be a little bit more. I actually wouldn't recommend this as a first one. I'm thinking about this now and realizing that probably not a good starting point, but it's not the worst next step point. And we have Cthulhu Death May Die. Quacks of Quedlinburg is also a good one. Cthulhu Death May Die. That is definitely not a good first pick, but if they're interested, if they display interest, it might be one that is a little different. It is one of Rena's favorite games. Rena does enjoy this one a lot. Point is, you can get a lot of different games with a lot of different people. And then Canvas. I forgot to pull Canvas off the shelf. Canvas is an excellent, beautiful game. I haven't had that game that long, and the amount of new people I've introduced it to that have really been enjoying Canvas, it's a solid game. Highly recommend that one. But the point is, this is just a small list. There are so many good options. Have them choose. Have them look. Give them the opening, give them the door, but don't shove them through it. It's not the way to do it. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.